Hey, what's going on, guys? The Langbanger. I have a new profile for you, and I wanted to go over the deck that I used at YCS 200th Columbus. So I used Timelords. It's just a very fascinating deck to me because this is one deck that can do something that other decks cannot. I mean, the fact that you have a monster that can have your opponent's life points, deal 2,000 life points, bounce all monsters to the hand, bounce, spell and traps to the deck. I mean, that sort of utility is crazy to me. Honestly, I probably didn't do enough testing. I mean, my side deck could have been much better too, but overall, the strategy for this is pretty good. So let's just go into it. So you have 3 Mykion. So this is the guy that has your opponent's life points. So none of your guys can be destroyed by battle or card effects. And then, at the end of the battle, then, they all do something. And then during your next standby, they get back into the deck. So Mykion is the deal, or half your opponent's life points. Next, I had 3 Sandion. So this guy's actually pretty cool because he's the only guy that actually has an attack stat. So he can't deal damage, but it's good to get over stuff. But then also at the end of the battle, he inflicts 2,000 damage. So it's actually crazy how quickly you can game shot your opponent. And then also the fact that these guys just sit on the board, it's actually pretty annoying to get past. I mean, they pretty much have to go in the unicorn or, there might be a few other outs, but, it's pretty tough. You have 2 Raffion. So this guy deals damage equal to the attack of a monster that he attacks with or battles with. So that's actually pretty crazy. So I use a lot of kaijus, so that damage in itself is pretty big. Or if my opponent already has a big beefy monster, so opted to do that. 2 Metayan, really amazing card. I mean, I was more so going for burn to get up in life points, and then just kind of just control from there. So I didn't max out on some of these cards. I was more so maxing out on the cards that inflicted damage or, so on and so forth. So Metayan, to be able to bounce all other monsters, that's crazy. 1 Zaphion. Also, what was very hard, kind of just deciding what Time Lords in particular to use, because Zaphion's like crazy against back row decks, and if they don't have something that's chainable, then everything's going back into the deck. But then I was also thinking like Goki's going to be pretty big, so that's why I opted to only use one. I don't know what I would do going forward, but just know that Time Maiden can, really just search out anything that you want, so it really doesn't matter too much. So then you have 3 Time Maiden. Absolutely insane card. Gotta use 3 of that. Then I was using 3 Battle Fader and then 3 Swift Scarecrow. So as you can see, I wanted to get up in life points, keep my guys on the board, and then even if they could get past my Time Lord, they weren't going to inflict damage to me, and then my turn came again, and then I would deal more damage again. So it's pretty much the strategy of this deck. And then I used 7 Kaijus. One of each. Surprisingly, I mean, it's like an ongoing joke, but it's like I'm using 7 and I still didn't even see these like a whole lot. Like there was a lot of times where my opponent would just have a boss monster on the board or something like I want to get rid of, and I didn't have a kaiju. So space is very tight with this deck. I really don't know what I would do going forward. I mean, I might put this deck on the shelf for a little bit for the time being, but yeah, just overall very interesting. That I wouldn't see those a whole lot. Going on to the spells, you have 3 Mound of the Bound Creator. So this is a card you wouldn't often see, but basically level 10 or higher monsters on the field cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effects. So your kaiju or your Time Lords already have they can't be destroyed by card effects, but your opponent can target them. So that's why having this is actually good, because then they have to out this first. Then they deal with your Time Lord. So a lot of people were using Magical Mid-Breaker Field. That card's fine, but it's just nullifying effects during the main phase. So this is just overall, stopping. So that's why I decided to use that. Then you have 2 Scapegoats. End phase Scapegoat and go into a link is just crazy. I mean, even double Mrs. Radiant, like that's insane in itself. Or, you can go off in the Borreload, Boral Sword. Yeah, Foolish Burial, get that Time Maiden into the grave. 1 for 1, being able to get the Time Maiden out. 1 day apiece, just a little bit of stall, give yourself another turn just to set up for, game swing. And then I only use 6 traps, 3 Threatening Roar, and 3 Wabiku. So as you can see, I really leaned on Mikeon and Sandyon just to inflict the damage, either half my opponent's life points or deal 2,000. And then basically I would just ensure that I would have another turn and then just continue to inflict damage. So I don't have my side deck on me. I disassembled it, but I was using like 3 Hatrune, 3 Evenly Matched. I was using 2 Cyber Dragon. Trying to think of what else. I mean, it was just very basic stuff. A Kaiju Slumber. I didn't main that because of Goki and, Trigate Wizard. I figured that was going to be big still. I should have sided Twin Twisters and Heavy Storm Duster because I was actually playing against a lot of rogue decks. So I played against like a bunch of Altergeist and True Draco, and I just feel like if I would have just cleared their back rows, I would have just went in and went crazy on them. So that's definitely one takeaway. So if I were to use this again, I would definitely side 3 of each of those. Because if my opponent doesn't have back rows, then I'm just going in on you. So thanks for watching the profile, guys. And I will be talking to you soon. Peace.